How to win multiple offers. When a buyer says, do you think there are other offers? And you say, is the sky blue? Yes, chances are there will be. If the home is in good shape, if it's move-in ready and priced appropriately, you're damn right there's going to be multiple offers. I do not win all of them. None of us win every single round of multiple offers, but I do have a pretty good track record lately. So I'll go through the top 10 things that I torture my buyers with. That we do to win a multiple offer situation, with the preface that every house is different and every seller is different. But let's start with number one. Number one is get inside the seller's head. And this is where the real estate agent calls the listing agent and makes nice to try to figure out what they value. Now, sometimes buyers get upset because they feel like you are working for the seller, that you're accommodating the seller. And my response to that is, do you want a house? Do you? Because when you're competing with 10 or 15 other offers on a house, you have to figure out what the other side wants. It's always going to be price. 100% of the time, it's going to be price. No seller is going to say, well, if they accommodate our move-out date, we'll give them $10,000 off. Absolutely not. When you're on the selling side, if you've ever sold a home, you know that the first thing you look for is on the offer to purchase, the sales price. Because we all want to be able to say that we got asking price for the home or $10,000 over, whatever it is. Everyone wants the highest price for the house. Everyone. So let's not even talk about, do you think we can offer less? The only time you can offer less is if the house needs a lot of work. And even then, I have seen I've had a house fall out of contract because we found out it had termites, and they put it right back on the market and it had multiple offers. I don't know. Maybe they want a much faster closing. Well, you're going to have to accommodate that. Maybe they have a tenant in place and they want to close in 2 or 3 months. And I would not recommend drawing out a closing that long, but the point is you've got to figure out what they value, what's important to them beyond the price, because everyone can't compete on price. You can drive it up as much as you want, but there's other aspects that are the story of an offer that you've got to hit all of those so that you win. So call, make your agent call. And have them make nice. I'll say when you're the listing agent, when you just get a random offer in your inbox, we all want to get offers, but when we have a relationship with the buyer's agent and we've been talking and we kind of get a sense of like what the buyer is all about, that puts you ahead of the curve. It really does. All right, number 2, due diligence. Once upon a time, in 2015, we didn't put due diligence down. No, I remember when I bought my house, I didn't put any down. I'd say, I have no idea what this inspection report is going to say. I don't know if it's going to appraise. I don't know anything. I'm not giving you a damn penny for due diligence. Due diligence is the non-refundable money at the front. If you do not put due diligence down, you just wasted 15 pages of paper on an offer that is just unheard of. Nobody, even houses that are an absolute train wreck, are taking due diligence money. So you can only compete on price to a certain point, and then the next thing to compete on is due diligence. Due diligence money speaks to a seller's soul because it is money in their wallet, in their bank account right away that you don't get back. So it's a power move. Buyers don't like hearing this because it's scary, and I get it. It's super scary, especially when it's an older home. You don't know what you're getting into, but it's the risk you take to win. It varies across price points. I've seen in the low 200s a $5,000 due diligence check on one of my listings, and then up in the 600s, 700s, 10,000, 20,000, and sometimes those still lose. That's where that phone call with the listing agent about what they value. If they really value due diligence, think about that when you're writing the check. It's not fun to ask your buyer for that much due diligence money, but when they really want the house, it's a tactic. And it often is the determining factor because it's money in the hand. All right, number 3, do not drag ass. You have got to be aggressive. If you're trying to buy now and your attitude is like, well, we'll see if it's available next week. It's not going to be available next week. Why would you think that? They go so fast. You'll see a lot of listings pop up on Thursday and Friday because they're going to show it throughout the weekend and then they'll make a decision on Sunday or Monday. Some sellers don't want to do that, and if they get a good offer in 3 hours, they're done. They're done. I have sold several listings sight unseen. I put them coming soon. They see them online. They see the videos and photos and all that. They make an offer. We're done. So you have got to be aggressive. If you see something that you're like, that's the house, you've got to get in there. And then if you're working with me, you don't get, it's not HGTV where you're going to go have lunch and you're going to go jet ski and I'm going to pay for all of it. And then we'll look at 4 homes and over drinks, we'll talk about it. And I'll make a phone call in a restaurant and like negotiate and we'll be done. That's not going to happen. Plus it's dangerous to jet ski. I don't want you to die. We got to close on this house first. Then you do whatever you want. But we go from the showing to the back of my pickup truck and we write the offer right there and submit it because we don't know what the seller is going to do. Maybe someone walks in with a mopa, frappa, whatever the hell, spills it on their carpet, they get pissed and they're like, we're done. Try putting a timestamp on your offer, although I'll say this can backfire. It has backfired on me. If you are going to make a great offer, and I mean, you're coming like 10 to 15 over, you've got 5,000 to 6,000 due diligence, you've fulfilled every wish that they could possibly have, and you don't want to let it sit in multiple offers and then get bid up. What you can do is we have a document where you can put in this offer expires at this time. So 24 hours, a couple hours, whatever it is. And basically it's another power move to say, this is a phenomenal offer, but we need to buy something this weekend. We got to move. And so take it or leave it. Every seller likes getting offers. Nobody likes losing them. So when you get a great offer and someone threatens to take it away from the seller side, that's not a great feeling because if it's the best one at that point and it could go away if you don't make a move, well, sometimes that can kick them to like, get off the pot, so to speak, and take your damn offer and be done with it. And on the buyer's side, it keeps you from getting into, highest and best, or would you come up more and all this. But it can backfire. So if you're not offering like the creme de la creme, if you're maybe 3,000 over, 5,000 over, and they have, they know that 7 other offers are coming, well, they're going to want to see what those other offers are. Or if they've had a ton of traction, like 14 showings in the first day, if not more, they're going to want to see what comes out of that. So they'll tell you to pound salt. Get your lender on board. When I have really needed to win something, which I really need to win all of them, but when I knew that we were kind of coming down neck and neck, I will have the lender call the listing agent and just say, look, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so or whoever it is, they're a strong candidate. We've pre-qualified them. We've gone through their assets. They're good to go. We're coming in at 20% down or 10% down. I just wanted as a courtesy to call you and let you know that they are very viable buyers. Why does that matter? Well, maybe everyone is a viable buyer, but on the seller side, when you've got their agent calling and then the lender calls and says how great your buyer is, that's another show of force. That shows that you're coming with a cavalry. You have this whole team surrounding your buyer and their offer. Not every lender will do it, but sometimes they will. Regardless, the lender, whoever you choose, needs to be available as often as we are available, because when you're driving from house to house to house, and if you're putting in offers at each one of them because you got to get this thing done, you're going to need new pre-approval letters at that asking price for each one of them. I will not speak the names and words of certain lenders that are an absolute train wreck to work with. And I'll just say this. If something sounds too good to be true, it is, especially on the lending side. Sometimes buyers show up with these, they might as well be printed on toilet paper from these mass mortgage companies that are online that just pop out pre-approval letters. If it was easy for you to get, if you didn't have to show much documentation, real estate agents know who those companies are. They are familiar with the lenders in town, and they know that they are not all created equally. So if you bring something to the table, let's say 0% down, 100% financing, that's going to raise someone's eyebrow, because that, like, we don't really do that anymore unless it's USDA. There's a story in that section of an offer letter about the financing that a buyer is going to use. So if you don't have an updated pre-approval letter, if it's from one of those mass mortgage companies that just pop out the letters, or if it looks unusual, like say 100% financing, that's going to give the listing agent agita. They're going to be like, I don't know. If it's from a local lender who all of us are familiar with, we know that they check out their people, that's going to put you ahead. So it's never fun when you have to tell your buyer, hey, I think we need to go through the pre-approval process again with a local lender, with someone who has a great reputation in town. They never want to do it. But you might need to do it if you want to separate yourself from the pack. When it comes to the inspection report, consider putting a cap on how much you will ask for repairs. I know, it's like, well, what if it's a major thing? Well, here's what we do sometimes, is we'll say we're not gonna ask for repairs under $500. So if there's a huge issue, then yeah, we're gonna ask you to fix that. But like smaller things, we're not going to ask you to fix that. Now, obviously, that's easier said than done when it's new construction versus an old home, but it gives the seller some kind of prediction about how this sale is going to go, how we're going to close. If they know, the seller knows the condition of their home. They may not disclose everything, but they damn well know. So if they know that there's nothing major and it's just little stuff and they're not going to have to fix anything major and you're going to take care of it, then they're going to have a smoother coast to closing, and that's what every seller wants. Right now we have a lot of leaseback situations. In a leaseback, you close on the home, you rent it back from the new owners. That sounds odd, doesn't it? Be a renter in your own home? It's not your home anymore. You don't own it. You sold it. But sellers who are nervous that they're not going to be able to find a home to buy, they want that runway. They want a period from, say, 2 weeks to 2 months. I've seen some as long as 6 months, where they can then shop for a home. I have had 2 situations where the terms of the leaseback dictated who was going to win. We competed on everything else, and then we were down to the leaseback. In a leaseback, you can either charge the rent that would cover your mortgage, and that seems to make sense, right? If you want to be nice, you can just charge the rent that they're used to paying in their mortgage, or if you want to make a power move, you can charge anywhere from that to 0 for them to pay you to live in their own home. And within that continuum is how seductive you want your offer to come across, based on, again, all the other points that you've already given them a ton of money, given them a ton of due diligence, all that. But the terms of the leaseback are another way to compete among offers. Offer an amount. If you have to come over asking, you can guarantee an amount above if the home doesn't appraise. When you have a home that's already high priced or competitively priced, and then to win multiple offers, everybody comes over and now you're 10, 15 above, well, it might not appraise. Sometimes they do, and you're like, wow, really? Sometimes they don't. And now you have a $10,000 spread. The sellers don't want to come down in price because they feel like you offered that, so you should make up the difference. And the buyer obviously doesn't want to pay that price because they can't get lending on the difference. So what you can do in multiple offers is say, hey, we know we're coming 10, 15 over. If the home doesn't appraise, we will guarantee that we'll come 5,000 over, 7,000 over. We will pay that out of pocket to make up the difference. You're not saying you're going to pay the whole amount, but what you're saying is, if the home doesn't appraise, we are going to have your back on this amount. It probably sounds at this point like you're coming a whole lot out of pocket to win the house. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's right. You can try to offer an escalation clause. In an escalation clause, it's a whole separate document, and basically it turns your home sale or buying experience into an eBay bidding site. And what it says is, we will guarantee, or we will offer 5,000 over whatever the highest offer is. So it takes you out of the guessing about what the highest offer is, and you just say, well, whatever the highest is will come this much over up to a cap, and then you cap out. I don't particularly like escalation clauses. I don't use them because sometimes some people have trouble being honest about what the highest and best is, or even if there are multiple offers. I'm gonna have a seizure. I just don't like that because I feel like it shows all your cards. I have two buyers, who are willing to go as much as $20,000 over. I know, but they are. They've got the money. They've worked hard their whole life and saved up. They can do it. I don't necessarily want the seller to know that that is our power move, that we have that much of a spread to go, because it may only take another $2,000 to win the contract. So I don't want to offer up all of my buyer's money if I don't have to. But if things are moving fast, and if you know that that's your cap and that's your absolute stop, you can submit an escalation clause that caps you out at a certain amount so that you don't have to worry about getting called back or calling all the time and asking if there's highest and best. That's where you end, and you're willing to go that far over. It's a document you can use. I don't know that many people are using them, but it's there if you want to use it. And number 10, the final power move, I'm not going to tell you because my people already know it, because we include it on most every offer I write. Not all the time, but a lot of the times. And it is my secret squirrel, and it doesn't win every time, but what it does do, and the reason I'm not going to share it out into the internet, is because every time I submit an offer with this in it, the listing agent will call back and say, oh, that's such a good idea, I'm going to use that. And I'm like, make it your own secret weapons. But I always get good feedback on it, and the people who have bought with me know exactly what I'm talking about. Always get good feedback. It makes you very, very memorable. So when there's 10 or 15 offers, they do not forget the one that we sent. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We all got to have our secret power move, right? Well, that's mine. And if you buy a home with me, you damn well better believe that we'll be doing it, because it can work, and it really can separate you from the herd. So those are my top 10 tips. When you're in multiple offer situation, you're not going to win them all, and sometimes you just have to keep submitting offers. The important thing is to not take your foot off the gas, because it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy for the agent to get discouraged. It's easy for buyer. Everybody gets discouraged, but you just got to keep trying. And ultimately, when you stick within a certain area, you start to learn what it's going to take. And buyers typically, after they lose a few, maybe in the beginning they only wanted to put down $750 due diligence, and they don't like it when you tell them they're going to need $4,000 to $5,000. Well, you lose a few, and then you start playing to win, and that stinks, and it's not fun. And we could talk all day long about how things used to be, but that's how they used to be. And this is this market, play to win. Hopefully, some other agents will chime in and give their tips for winning multiple offers. What makes them successful? Suggestions that are constructive and not coming onto my lawn here on the internet with some snarky comment. You know who you are. Good luck. Stay strong. Carb up before you go out there for showings. But keep these tips in your back pocket, because the whole goal is to get to closing.